Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be looking at factor theorem. Now, let's say if we are given the quadratic x squared plus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. Now, this is a quadratic equation that factorizes into this form: x minus 2, x plus 4 equal to 0. Now, this is a basic idea of factorization that we have known, and from this we can say that if these two products, or the product of these two numbers rather, equals 0, then x minus 2 has to equal 0, or x plus 4 has to be 0. From here we can deduce that x is equal to 2 and x is equal to negative 4. Now we can see that both 2 and negative 4 are called the root of this equation. Now they are the root of this equation here, and from this we can say that x minus 2 is a factor of this equation. Now this is where the factor theorem comes out, that if x is equal to a, if x equal to a is a root of the equation. Now this equation can be f of x. No. So if x equal to a is a root of the equation, therefore f of x being equal to 0, this is the equation that we are talking about. That's why I said if x equal to a is a root of the equation f of x, then x minus a is a factor. Now, this means that if I impute this value of 2 into this equation, I get 0 without any remainder. That shows that x minus 2 is a factor, and we can see it from here: x squared plus 2x minus 8 being equal to 0. Now if I impute 2, let x be equal to 2. If I impute 2 here, I'll have 2 raised to the power 2. Then here I'll have 2. Then I'll have minus 8 equal to 0. This gives me 4. And this gives me 4 minus 8 equal to 0. Now we can see that we have no remainder. So x minus 2 is a factor. And that is what the factor theorem talks about. So if we are given, normally we don't solve quadratic equations in this manner, we just factorize. But what if we are given this equation a cubic equation? Let's say we are given a cubic equation of the form, let's say x raised to the power 3 minus 2x raised to the power 2 minus 5x then plus 6 equal to 0. Now, if we are given an equation in this form, this is a cubic equation, unlike the quadratic equation where we can factorize and easily get our answer. In this cubic equation, we use the factor theorem, and we use a process of trial by error. So, by this process involves putting different values for x and checking which of these values equals 0. So all those values that equal 0 are referred to as the factor of the particular equation. That is what it means here. F of x has to equal 0. Then we can say that that particular value is a factor. So let's solve solution. Now we start by imputing a positive number for x. Let x be equal to 1. So if x is equal to 1, I will have 1 cube minus 2 1 square minus 5 1 plus 6 being equal to 0. So this gives me 1, and this gives me negative 2 negative 5 plus 6. And we can see that negative 2 negative 5 gives us negative 7. 1 plus 6 gives us positive 7. This is actually equal to 0. So therefore we can say that x minus 1, bringing 1 above the equality sign here, is a factor of the above equation. Now we can see that x is a factor, so we continue trying other numbers. So let's x be equal to negative 1. Now we try from a positive number to a negative number, then we see how we can get the factors out. So I can get negative 1 cube minus 2 negative 1 square minus 5 negative 1 plus 6. Let's see if it is equal to 0. This gives me negative 1, and this gives me negative 2, and I can see that this gives me positive 5 plus 6. Now from what we are seeing here, it is not equal to 0. So we'll try another value of x. We say let x be equal to positive 2. So let x be equal to positive 2. I'll impute the 2 into the formula, so I'll get 2 cubed minus 2 raised to power 2 minus 5 2 plus 6, and let's see if it is equal to 0. This gives me 8 minus, this gives me 4, and this 8, and this gives me negative 10 plus 6. So, and we can see that 8 plus 8 will give me 14, then minus 8. So this is not equal to 0. So we continue trying different values for x. Let x be equal to negative 2. So we can say, we can say that negative 2 cube from the equation. Let me write out the equation here. X cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So negative 2 cubed minus 2 all square minus 2, 5 plus 6. Let's see if this is equal to 0. This gives me negative 8, while this gives me another negative 8. This gives me a positive 10, while this gives me 6. And we can see that this actually is equal to 0, because negative 8 gives me negative 16 plus 16, and it is actually equal to 0. So we can say that x plus 2 is a factor. So we continue trying by error. Let x equal to 3. Let x equal to positive 3. And we say, okay, 3 cube minus 2, 3 square, then minus 5, 3 plus 6, all equal to 0. Now, 3 cube will give me 27. Then I will have negative 18. Here I will have negative 15 plus 6 equal to, so let's see if this is equal to 0. 27 plus 6 gives me 33, while this gives me also 33. So this is actually equal to 0. Now, we can therefore say that x minus 3 is a factor. Now, from this, we see that x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equal to x, the product of x minus 1, x plus 2, x minus 3. And now, there is an alternative way of obtaining the other factors. If we have gotten the first factor here to be x minus 1, we can use our idea of the long division in polynomial, okay, alternative method. We can use our idea of long division in polynomial and solve, Then I'll have x minus 1 here and x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. So from here, I will say first step, x cubed divided by x, give me x squared. I have my x squared here. Then multiply my x squared by this. I have x cubed minus x squared. Then third step is to subtract. So if you really want to understand this, you watch my video on long division with polynomials, then you get a better understanding of what I'm doing here right now. So I'll have my x cubed minus x squared here. I subtract, I'll have my negative x. So this gives me negative 2x squared minus, or rather plus x squared to become negative x squared. Now, mind you, this cancels out, and I'll be left with this plus this. Okay, now I go over it again. Step 4, negative x squared divided by x. I'll have negative x. So I'll put it here, negative x. And I'll multiply. That is the fifth. So I multiply my negative x by x minus 1 to give me negative x squared positive x. So I subtract, which is the sixth step. I subtract, and I'll get negative x squared plus x. So if I subtract, this becomes a positive and it cancels this out. And this becomes negative 5x negative x to become negative 6x. I bring this down again, plus 6. So I do this step one more time. Negative 6x divided by x to give me negative 6. So this is negative 6 here. So I can see that multiply my negative 6 by x minus 1 to get negative 6x and positive 6, which I impute here and then subtract. So I put it here, negative 6x plus 6, and this gives me 0. Now, from my answer above here, x squared minus x minus 6, I can see that this easily factorizes into x plus 2, x minus 3. So we can see it, this multiplied by this gives us this multiplied by negative 3 gives me negative 3x. This multiplied by this gives me positive 2x, which gives me a negative x here. Then positive 2 multiplied by 3 gives me a negative 6 here. So this is another alternative in solving by first getting the first factor and then solving using long division of polynomial.